We are live in 3, 2, and 1. We are live. Okay, great. Hey everyone, welcome back to another live interview that I'm doing here with my client, Patrick, who lost just over 30 pounds in less than 4 months while actually taking a full month off. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So Patrick, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time.
No worries.
How are we doing today?
Doing pretty good.
You look great.
Nothing special. Was on my Nordic track bike for interval training. That was about it.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Well, why don't we get started? Why don't you tell everyone who you are, what your name is, where you're from, and a little bit about your background.
All right. My name is Patrick Barth. I live in Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn, living in Brooklyn Heights now. I'm a retired lawyer. I retired when I was 70 or so, pretty much retired. I'll be 75 in November. I was pretty active, I guess, for the last 8 or 9 years with swimming, biking, running, some triathlons, stuff like that. And when the pandemic started, actually beginning of the year, I noticed that my weight was creeping up, which for me was a big concern. At one point in my life, I was about 300 pounds. And that was like 1990. And I know I lost well over 100 pounds at that point in time. And it kind of gradually came up. I could never hold 180. I went up to 215, and I went down to 195. And it started the pandemic at about 190, and I started steadily gaining weight. And I was 198 when I contacted you. And it was a point in time where I guess, we were in the middle of the pandemic. I was starting to eat my way through the pandemic, and I decided to do something about it. So that's when we hooked up. And I guess in the beginning, you got me onto my FitnessPal, which coincidentally I'd been on before but never used. I noticed that today. And that's, I've been pretty, regular of seeing you 3 times a week and diarying my food every day. I noticed that I missed 2 days because in August, I was just kind of taking a walk to the local laundromat to get my laundry. And I went down in the street. I didn't pass out or anything like that, but I just couldn't move. And I eventually went to an emergency room, and I found out that I had like an 85% blockage and a 75% blockage in coronary arteries. So I was on a Sunday. On a Monday, I was in a regular hospital. Monday night, I had a procedure, and Tuesday I was back. So aside from those days, those are the only days I missed diarying my food in. And the diarying the food keeps me honest. That's for sure. And the recovery from the heart issue required me to do 45 minutes of intensive cardio at a rehab clinic in Manhattan. So I had you 3 times a week. I had cardio clinic twice a week. And I've been using trainers for years. I have 2 different trainers, and we're finally at the point where both guys are working in different locations. So I do exercise a lot. I live alone. I don't cook. I heat up. When I lost my major weight loss of over 100 pounds involved not eating food at all, just getting powder converted into calories, then an American Diabetes Association diet, and 26 weeks of nutritional counseling. And I think that's helped me. And I've learned a lot just listening to Irslan. I guess the tip is no processed foods.
Yeah. Well, so a little bit of context for everyone listening. So when Patrick, at what age were you when you quit smoking?
Stopped smoking when I was 41.
And that's when you had that major weight gain, right?
Yeah, I lost the weight first. And I knew from the from basic knowledge is that stopping smoking wasn't going to get me to gain weight unless I ate more.
Right.
So I stopped smoking, and I wound up going to the weight loss was under supervision of St. Luke's Roosevelt. They had a fat clinic, and
I see.
I went to like a Hazelton type clinic to stop the smoking. So I lost all the weight, stopped the smoking in 1989, and then probably in 1990 I started going to a gym. I hadn't done that in ages,
Wow.
and I guess I'm pretty much been doing gym stuff since I'm 41 or 42.
Gotcha.
I have a good base. Good base.
Right. So it sounds like you were they had you under medical supervision when you lost 100 pounds when you were on the starvation diet.
Yeah, they did. In a
Right.
sense, it was supervision. I had to go in every week
Right.
to have some things checked,
Yeah.
and I had to hand in a food diary, and they
Right.
would tell me what I was missing.
Got it.
What happened early in that? I don't know how much weight I lost, but I was in my apartment and I took like a cold pill or something, and I almost passed out. So it scared me.
Yeah.
And I went to my regular doctor, and he told me, "Oh, your blood pressure is too low." And I thought like that was a really good thing, and because he's always been yelling at me that it was too high.
Right.
But evidently, the starvation type diet had a bad effect on my metabolism.
Right.
So
Well, yeah,
he had me go off the powder,
Yep.
and that's when I enrolled in I'm not diabetic, but it was a 26-week. If you're diabetic, what do you eat type of diet, which kind of I follow. I kind of follow it to this day, and I guess it's a healthy diet. So I lost a lot of the weight just by watching my food, turning in this inventory of food that I had. They'd mark it up. It's kind of like you notice like I'm carbohydrate heavy. I could eat carbs the whole day and not even touch a protein. So that my fitness app helps because it gives you a little summary at the bottom of the page.
Right.
And I know like at least once a week you've checked in on that and say, well, you're kind of low on a protein or
Right.
carbs, stuff like that. Which
Yeah. That makes sense. So yeah, why don't you share with everyone then like the result that you got with me? When we started back in July. From July to November. Again, you did have that. So if you remember what he was saying earlier, he had a full month where he wasn't following, he was still tracking the food, but really not doing the program because of the heart procedure, the 85% blockage. So, really you achieved this goal in 3 months, but why don't you tell everybody like what was the specific goal that you achieved?
Well, I kind of wanted to be 180 pounds. That was kind of my goal because I don't remember being below 180 pounds. I don't know, maybe I touched below 180 when I had the massive weight loss, but I could never hold 180. But I felt if I got back to 180, I'd be safe. And I just continued. I just continued. I had to stop the high intensity training until a cardiologist approved it. I know
Right.
you were pretty insistent about that. You wanted the doctor to approve it. And
Well, yeah.
as soon as it was approved, I went back to it.
Right.
And I wear a heart monitor now. I don't let myself go over 140, although I'm tempted. And I'm kind of diverging. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll lose a little bit more. Maybe I'll go for 175 because I don't remember being 175. And then it was, well, I'm satisfied with eating under 2,000 calories a day. I obviously get a lot of exercise calories, so I just let it ride. And I was surprised I'm below 165 now, like 164, which was a surprise. I think that probably was what I weighed in the second year of high school.
Yeah. So Patrick lost 30 pounds. Just about I think a little bit more over this 4-month period. Which again, he took a full month off, right, because of this procedure he had done. And the beauty of this program is I want kind of to you to share this, not because it means more if it comes from you. The beauty of it is like you haven't yo-yoed. Like we've been working together for almost 8 months now, right? And like you started at 198, you got down to 165 that first 4 months. I mean 168, within that first 4 months, and then like you progressively stayed around where you wanted to be. the whole time?
Yeah, I knew from the past that a yo-yo diet was physically not good for me, because when you lose weight rapidly and you gain it back, you're gaining back more fat than you are muscle.
Yep.
So I knew from the beginning that I shouldn't be losing more than a pound or so a week. And I didn't binge that much. I guess I've been starting binging a little bit more the last couple of weeks with Entenmann's or with apple turnovers, my
Right.
trigger. But I noticed that when I do have that, and if I actually put it in my food diary and I look at it,
Right.
it has an effect on me.
Right.
It has an effect. So I've been pretty steady. There's a graph on the MyFitnessPal. You can
Right.
just, if you go into a certain part of it, and I can just see mine, it's just like a slow, steady decline. Now I'm evening off and trying to figure out how many calories do I need to sustain. And I have this loose skin issue now. I'm kind of like, since I lost so much weight and I'm this age, you lose body tone. So I'm
Yeah.
going to level off at 165, and I'm doing some more weight training.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. It makes sense.
buying,
Too.
buying new clothes.
Right. There you go. Good problems. Well, it makes sense too, right? Because loose skin is normal if you lose, like, you've lost over 100 pounds, you're a little bit older, you're 74. So that makes sense for where you're at. Yeah. And can you just kind of share where you were at, like mentally, emotionally, and physically before you began with me?
Well, I know I wasn't as physically fit. I guess I noticed yesterday something came up on my Facebook for March 1 of last year,
Right.
which is my last running event with my running club. So I basically shut down from the world after March 1. And you were the only show in town for a while until I got to the cardiac. until then slowly these trainers, I train in Prospect Park, or I train in Brooklyn Bridge Park. So this has nothing to do with anything, but I knew that if I stayed alone and didn't interact with somebody, I would continue to eat more. Loneliness eating. I know I'm a lonely eater. And so we started, but I pretty much, I'm not, I'm pretty stubborn, and I'm pretty determined. So I had something in
I
mind,
love that.
and I was going to do it. I was a lawyer for, God knows, for decades, and I did litigation. So I'm kind of know that I have to get a certain amount of stuff done each day and continue to progress. So I didn't want to slip back, and having someone look at it, what did you call it, accountability, was a big help, and it was fun. I had fun doing the high intensity training. I can do a better burpee now than I ever could in my entire life.
I love it. And what was your biggest struggle before, just in trying to, like, because you said you were like going in a upward trajectory, like just going in the wrong direction with your weight during the pandemic. So, like, what was your biggest struggle, like during, like, just with your weight overall, trying to lose that weight?
Well, I think that my kind of big life struggle is sort of with a low mood or a depression. And if I get in the low mood, I eat more. I know that about myself. And so I had to start. A couple of years ago, I must have tried to start with somebody else I guess it was 3 or 4 years ago, because I joined the MyFitnessPal. And one of my trainers is a dietitian, and he would have me take pictures of everything. But I stopped it after a few months. And I knew that if I didn't do something about it, right now I'd probably be 220 pounds.
Wow.
I just would have started eating. Would have been, how it goes. I'm 165 now. If I let it go to 170, well, 170 is not bad. I'll start dieting at 175, then it becomes 180, then it becomes 185.
Right.
So I wanted to get a handle on it as soon as I could, which I did with your help.
Yeah, well, that's I'm glad. Thank you. And it's something that I always like to say. It's like, how you lose weight is how you keep it off. So it has to be sustainable, right? It's like, that's why, like, I don't focus on like diets and like fad diets or like things like that. It's like a lifestyle. Like, you have Entenmann's, like, and like multiple times, and like you're sustaining your weight very well, right? So it's like, what almost stopped you though from like maybe if anything, just like from giving this a shot?
What was the question?
What almost stopped you from like giving this a shot, if anything? Just curious.
I don't know. There was a cost involved, so I thought about the cost.
Right.
But I thought it was pretty reasonable. One of my friends from one of my sports clubs knew you. I think you trained him, so that was a big positive thing. I think
Right.
if I didn't have that connection, I don't know that I would have started it. But I do remember him telling me that he had a great trainer. I forget what place it was at, and
Right.
and
Oh wow. I
figured
didn't know that.
I figured you were the trainer,
Right.
and so that was it. I just had to get started.
Yep.
That's what you have to do in life. You have to do it. So,
I love that.
so I got started. And I continued.
And
I
what
think
was your
Irslan, interacting with you on a regular basis, was a big help. That was a big help.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. And it's a
We
pleasure
were
interacting with you as well.
We were in this weight loss together.
Yes, we were. I'm right by your side. And what, with that said, like, what was your favorite part about the program, just working with me?
Well, I think the results.
Love that.
I think the results were my favorite part, and they were pretty steady. And I did the same thing every day. I got up in the morning and got on that scale, took a picture of the weight. Basically, I've had the same breakfast for all these months, oatmeal and fruit, and would be ready for you. It would have been easier if it was earlier in the day, but we're 1:30, and so I'd be ready for that. Sometimes I would do a 5 mile speed walk or something before it, and I do you, and then it was something to do. It was interesting. It was fun. It was challenging.
Yeah.
It was challenging, particularly when we're looking at my heart rate and trying to get it up to a certain number.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is harder to get up to now than it was months ago because I'm fitter.
Way fitter. Way fitter.
I'll tell you something about losing the weight when you have a heart condition. I have what they call I have coronary artery disease. That's what they call it, because there are these two blockages. It could be hereditary. It could be any one of a number of things. So my first meeting with the cardiologist, I was already on this diet, and he asked me what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. And I said, it makes sense to me that if I get this weight off my body, that my heart will have less work to do, and I might have more enjoyable years in this portion of my life. I might even catch an extra year or two, because my body is not doing all that work, to get the blood around over 200 pounds. Now it only has to work for 165 pounds, and everything is easier. I could do pull-ups now.
That's insane. You do things that like people my age can't do. It's ridiculous.
Pull-ups now, yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I'm doing the body training for a long period of time.
Right.
And hopefully I'll be able to get back to group activity soon.
Yeah. Hopefully with everything beginning to level off a bit and get back to normal a little bit. So obviously you had this like amazing external transformation. You lost 30 pounds in pretty much 3 months. Was there an internal transformation that you experienced as well? And if so, like, what was it?
Well, I've been on my way to internal transformation for many, many years. And I do a meditation. That's my book here, because we're at my desk. It's my meditation book. The Daily Stoic.
There it is. Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
That's by the way, so just for some context, Patrick and I are both known Stoics. We believe in the Stoic philosophy. But yeah, go on, please.
Yeah. So I was pretty centered with that. I knew that I had no one. When I stopped smoking, they gave me 3 things to remember. I hope I can remember them now. One thing I had to learn about stopping smoking is it's a fallacy that if you stop smoking, you'll gain weight. It's not true. If you stop smoking and you eat more, you'll gain weight. But with the stop smoking, they kept on reminding you that I'm the one who smoked. I'm the one who's feeling the difficulty of getting out of the smoking. don't take it out on anybody else. Take responsibility for who you are and keep track of what you're doing every day. I had to write down stuff every day for the Stop Smoking program and watch my anger. And I can't remember what the third thing was, but I think it's the same with the weight loss, because you can get, I'm used to having, if I'm in an upset mood, instead of like processing it, I'll have a Entenmann's donut. In my lifetime, I would sit in front of the television with a box of Entenmann's donuts that I just pulled out of the freezer because I like the chocolate ones with a real crust on it, and a quart of milk. And I wouldn't think anything about that. It'd be like 10 o'clock at night, Yeah. That was my normal, and you pay for it.
Yeah.
You pay for it.
That sounds really good, by the way. I hope you didn't trigger anybody. No, yeah, no, absolutely. It makes sense.
As a Stoic, I would know that it's impossible for me to trigger anybody.
There you go.
You can only trigger yourself.
There you go. Yeah, I'm responsible for my own feelings.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so really last question here. Patrick, what would you say to anybody who's like maybe on the fence about possibly investing and working with me?
Well, I would say it's a good investment, because look, first ask yourself this question: what good have I done on my own? How did I get to this weight?
Right.
I know what to do. I know I shouldn't eat the Entenmann's. I know I shouldn't eat the apple turnovers, but I'm continuing to do it. What's going to like give me a little push so that I can get on the right track and stay on the right track? And this sort of, the HIT training and the accountability on the MyFitnessPal, it's ideal, because you can't hide from the MyFitnessPal and the HIT training. What are you going to do? You're not going to do it. I mean, it's a challenge, and particularly for flexibility for someone older, but it just kept me engaged. So I think it's useful to do it to I guess prime the pump to get the diet started, and then to keep you captivated and interested in watching the results as you get a little bit better each time. And even when I went off, you'd always say, well, forgive yourself, it's no big deal, because there's a lot of guilt that's associated with being a fat person. I was heavy most of my life till my 40s, and I know that. And you know what happens? If you feel guilty for having a slice of chocolate cake, you're going to have 3 more. And so just to kind of move on. And you were a big help with that. You're always very positive and encouraging. So prime the pump, start the training, and engage with the apps and the HIT training, and you'll see steady progress. And I think progress is, progress is great. And just be patient, and you're going to lose weight a little faster in the beginning than when you get to a lighter weight. And that's basically it. And today I go to my heart doctor for another summary, and I did the rehab. I did very well, and I can hopefully have a couple of good years and enjoy my Entenmann's in my old age.
There you go. Well, Patrick, you're an inspiration. What you've accomplished at 74. You know what? Actually, why don't you talk a little bit about that? What would you tell someone who says, I'm too old to lose weight?
I remember meeting this woman I knew from a program I go to, and she was in her 40s, and I met her in a subway station, and she had a little baby with her, a toddler, and she said, I know I'm so old, but I had the baby. And I told her something that I tell myself every day: it's never too late to have a life. So it's never too late to start anything. Even if you're not going to have a dramatic weight loss, people my age, and I've seen it in my family, you can get very, very heavy, and there are consequences. It's just not cosmetic. The cosmetic is the least part of it. It's the diabetes. It's this yo-yo syndrome or metabolic syndrome. It's all of these things. It's high blood pressure. It's not being able to walk up a flight of stairs without like stopping on every landing. So there's a lot to be said for just trying and getting started. Even if it takes a year, at the end of the year, you're better off than you're 10 pounds lighter or you're 10 pounds the same as compared to 10 pounds heavier. You know, it's a no-lose situation. Not that it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. They
Right.
teach us how to like sugar from a very, very young age. I mean, I always cringe when I see one of the people in a local store here give a baby that comes in, a toddler, a cookie. It's like the worst thing you can give someone, in my mind. But you know, you got to enjoy life a little bit too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely that balance for sure. But yeah, well, I really appreciate your time here, Patrick. Thank you. That was awesome. And do you have any like maybe last second thoughts or anything that you wish I kind of would have asked you that I didn't?
No, I can't think of anything. You know? I can't think of anything.
Well,
We have another month to go, I think, right?
yes, sir. Yeah.
We have another month to go. You know, it's sort of interesting. You know, think about the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been very important to me, from aside from the weight loss, just to have some human being to talk to every day.
Right.
Because sometimes it could be a few days. Would you maybe a whole week? Would you be the only person I'd interact with?
Right.
I live alone, and I'm kind of squeamish about going out. I got the 2 shots now, and another week or so, I think I'll be able to have a little bit more freedom in going out.
Right.
You know, I go on the train and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I haven't been like going to group runs or group swims or anything like that because I'm a little concerned.
Right. Yeah, that's good. I was thinking about the saying I work with the elderly and trying to get the shot early.
You what? You work with the elderly? I guess I'm elderly. Right?
No, not you, not you. My other
No,
client.
not me.
I'm just kidding. All right. Well, hey Patrick, I know you got to run.
It's some other 74-year-old who's elderly.
Well, hey man, I appreciate your time. I know you got to run as well. So thank you all for watching. If you're tuned in live, I hope you found this valuable and insightful. And just let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was if you tuned in live or if you caught the replay. Thanks so much for watching. Hope again this was helpful. Thank you, Patrick, for joining us.
Take care.
All righty, guys, and ciao. Thank you so much.